Yeah, so I'm Mark Zimmerman. I'm the president and chief operating officer of Renters Warehouse. Most of y'all know me. Hello, hello. I do want to say real quick just double click there. I do want to say that you do make sure to go by and visit our vendors. Make sure that you got a vendor passport, right? So you can go by and see the vendors and then put it in a bucket either at the Jet table or at the Renters Warehouse table. So you're in the very good odds for the drawing on the big screen TV. It's always fun to win a big screen TV, right? So make sure you do that. And then we're doing a little something fun too. We've got a cowboy tequila bottle thing in a bopper with shoot glasses and everything. So go by our table and get a little pink ticket. I think your odds are pretty good, unless you're like me and you've sworn off on tequila. But come by our table too as well. But make sure that you visit all the vendors. We absolutely could not put this event on, like Eddie said, without them. So it's very important to do that. And maybe you'll find somebody that you can add to your team that's going to help you, right? So make that happen. So normally I talk about what we do or what we've done and why you want to engage with Renters Warehouse on the property leasing and property management side. But this being our last meeting of the year, this is the time that we kind of reflect. And I wanted to share some crazy information from you guys, especially for those DIYers out there, because these are all things that you've got to do as a landlord as you become a rental property portfolio holder. And if you don't have someone helping you do that, this is the kind of stuff that you're going to have to do. I want to go through these numbers because I think it kind of highlights what our team does to help our clients and to help our residents. So, I mean, right now we currently manage about $128 million worth of rental property. It's just under 900 doors. So we manage a lot of doors. We started 9 years ago with 0 doors and just a couple of employees. And now, as you see here, we actually hired some more employees last year during the pandemic, and we're up to 33 employees now. So we've really been able to grow, and that's from, our clients helping us out by letting us manage and lease their properties. We have about 1,200 residents that we also work with in all those rental properties, and we collected $13 million worth of rent so far this year. $13 million worth of rent. Pretty crazy. The number that I was surprised about is we only evicted 17 people this year so far. 17 people out of 900 properties. Isn't that crazy? Well, the big reason why we are able to keep our evictions down, which we want to do, right? You don't want your resident to leave because then you've got to release the property. It costs you a lot of money. I think is this number right here. $129,000 worth of rental assistance we were able to help our residents get through all the different government programs during the pandemic. Thank you very much. I mean, helping somebody to find that money and understand the programs and understanding what they needed to do to get the money, that's very important. And a lot of people don't know what to do. And so that's why the evictions are so low, is we were able to keep our residents keep paying the rent with government assistance, which means as landlords, we got our rent. Fantastic. Everybody wins. So that number was pretty exciting for me. How about this one? Hats off to our maintenance department that we have. Our 3 maintenance coordinators handled 6,400 maintenance requests this year. 6,400. And I promise you, most of those were leaky pipes breaking at midnight, like I said on the podcast, right? Nothing ever goes wrong at Wednesday at 2 in the afternoon. It's always on the weekend. But, almost 6,500 maintenance requests. We actually leased 261 properties. People are still renting. Our days on market right now are about 17, 18 days. So yes, it's a hard sales market. Yes, people are selling their houses quickly, but guess what? People are renting houses more than ever before too. So it's great to be a landlord, because those people that can't get a house to buy because of the craziness that's going on with the bidding and all that other stuff that you see, they got to live somewhere. Might as well live in your house. So 261 properties we rented. How about this? We renewed almost 300 leases this year. That's fantastic too. Every time a tenant renews and stays in the property, that means you're not paying for a make-ready, right? You're not having vacancy that you're having to pay for and paying a leasing agent to find you another tenant, right? So that's a good thing. And then I'm really happy about these last 2, and then I'll get out of your hair. One, we're now at 1,341 5-star Google reviews. And that's, again, speaks well of our team and the job that they do for our clients and our residents. There's no other property management company in Houston that has 1,300 5-star reviews. I promise you can go look at that. And then lastly, we just got awarded last month the winner of distinction from the Better Business Bureau. We've won it every year that we've been open, and it's a big deal. And that, again, speaks well to us. So hopefully I didn't bore you with all these numbers. I think some of them were kind of crazy with the repairs, right? And the evictions and $13 million worth of rent. But it just shows you that this is what we're going to do for you. We're going to think outside the box. We're going to try and keep your resident in the property so you make money. And at, what did I tell Jon Pierre earlier? At $4.30 a day, basically that's what $129 divided by 30 days, $4.30 a day, price of one Starbucks coffee. That's what it costs for us to manage our property. So it's not going to break the bank. So come and see us. Thank you all the time. Have a great Thanksgiving. We won't see you next month. So have a great Christmas, and we'll see you in January, in the third week of January. Right, Johnny? Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Who wants to do an HGTV
it
reality
sounds real fun.
show?
It sounds real fun.
Well, you're at the right spot, because this young man, I'm going to call you young man.
Thank you, sir.
Started at the Jet Lending Renters Warehouse meeting how many years ago?
Now we're 6 years ago.
6 years ago. He walks into this meeting as a rookie. Now he's got not one, but 2 HGTV shows. 2 Steps Home and Going for Sold. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
Westfield High School.
That's right.
Spring, Texas. We're honored to have you. Thank you for being here.
No, thank you.
I give you the stage, Jon Pierre.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And thank you guys for having me. Eddie, Mark, Rich, I appreciate you guys having me here. It really is a full circle moment for me, because I was in this crowd 6 years ago, multiple times, coming here just to try to gain as much knowledge as I possibly could, because there is a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of connects. And so this is a fantastic event that you guys put on. So I'm really, really grateful to be here and give back. Just kind of starting off, I always start our presentations with something about going for something. In this case, being here, it reminds me of what it was like being out there, and how hard it is to be bold and to be brave enough to sit out here and say, I'm going to invest in real estate. I'm going to put my money, I'm going to gamble. It's extremely hard to do. And so I really am talking to, although I know there's a huge variety of knowledge out here, I really want to talk to those who are kind of coming here for the first or second time and like, man, I really have no idea what I'm doing. And it's okay, because everyone starts there at some point. So a little bit of our background. My wife and I, we have 2 kids. She couldn't be here tonight because she's watching our 2 kids, who are 6 and 4. I come from the oil industry. I was in the oil industry for 15 years with my family, and she was a flight attendant, kind of flew all over the world. She worked for American Airlines. She also flew charter flights for the U.S. military, taking them to and from their bases all over the world, Kuwait, Germany, Japan. And so she got to see a lot of the world. I think I've seen like 3 countries, maybe. And we have 2 kids, and we kind of got to that point in life where we had our first baby. She was 4 months old, and I was kind of thinking about, how can I try to create the life that I actually want for myself? How can I step out of the shadow of my family and create something that I can call my own? And at the time, ironically, we were watching a lot of HGTV, and at that time, flipping shows were huge. Like, there was probably 10 of them on HGTV. You could watch it probably from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. every single day. And I came home. The world was kind of putting things in motion. Oil was down that year. That was 2015. My dad was like, hey, man, you're great and all, but I don't want to pay you anymore. So I think you need to figure something else out. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I got to do that. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna flip houses, and I have zero idea on how to do it. I have no knowledge outside of the do-it-yourself and the knowledge that my dad gave me to fix things. And so I went home that day. My wife was getting ready to go back out being a flight attendant. And I told her that we're going to flip houses. I'm going to quit my job and we're going to flip houses. And she married me because I had a stable life. I had a great income, had a house, everything was awesome. I walk into the house, we're going to flip houses with a new baby, and you're about to leave and go back out on the road or in the air to fly. She was like, you're out of your mind. We're not doing that. That's not happening. And I was like, no, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. And I told her that like 4 times. It's going to be great. I had no idea what I was going to do, but I told her it would be great. And so we started our journey into flipping houses. And I came here probably 4 or 5 times. Our first contractor was Fast Track Remodeling, Elijah. They were fantastic. I picked them up from this meeting. We ended up getting a loan. We went through a hard money loan for the very first property. The biggest thing that I want to talk about tonight really is about the emotional fortitude that you have to start in this business. And for all those who have kind of been in this business for a while, you know the ups and downs that come with being an entrepreneur. It's extremely hard to buy your first house mentally, not necessarily with the money or anything, but it's extremely hard to get over that barrier of, I'm going to risk myself and my livelihood to try to pursue a dream. We passed on probably 15 houses that I thought were good deals, but because I was too scared, I didn't do it. We finally bought a house that was 1 block from our house that we lived in. And I was like, man, this is it. I had talked to, speaking of Mark, he owned a We Buy Ugly Houses franchise. I talked to someone else who owned a We Buy Ugly Houses franchise in Phoenix. And he said, listen, you can do it one of 2 ways. You can either pay somebody $30,000, $40,000 to go to one of those real estate investment courses, or you can just buy a house, be willing to lose the money you were going to spend on that course, and learn everything you need to learn, right? So I was like, oh, well, okay. So I called my wife. I was like, hey, there's this house. It's right down the street. We should do it. And she was like, listen, man, you've passed up houses for the last 6 months. Just buy a house and let's do this. So we bought the house, and that is the house. She flew in from Phoenix that day to sign the paperwork with me and then flew right back out. That's her and her American Airlines outfit at that time. So she flew in. You can't see it, but this right here, this little corner right there, that little is the bassinet that our baby was in. So we buy the house. We start renovating it. I made 3 mistakes to buy this house. Number 1, I bought it for too much. Number 2, I thought I could renovate it for less than what we ended up renovating it for. And 3, I thought I could sell it for more than I thought I could sell it for. All 3 of those mistakes are the main things that you have to know whenever you buy a house. And I didn't know any of them. So we bought the house, started renovating it. It was a beautiful home. I thought I could sell it for $200,000. We ended up selling it for $175,000, and I lost $10,000 over the course of 9 months. So going for broke, I told my wife that it would be great, and she asked, how long would you do it? And I said, until we lose everything. Until we lose everything. We're going to do this until we lose everything. So we took the rest of our money that we had, and we bought another house. I partnered on that with one of my best friends, pretty much my brother. We put our money into it. We probably had $5,000 or $10,000 left in the bank, all of our banks, everything together. That house sold in 2 days for $20,000 over what we thought we could sell it for. And that house saved us, literally, because we held on to that house for 3 more months. And it was a hard money loan. If y'all have experience with hard money loans, you know how much they cost, right? So by that second house, I had reinvigorated her spirits. She was ready to jump on board, kind of, sort of, because she was still feeling the loss of that first house that we did. And we kind of came to this conclusion about how we're going to navigate this world. And almost none of it had to do with business. It all had to do with our emotional and mental attitude about how we were going to approach it. First one was trust your instincts. We didn't have a lot of knowledge, so we had to kind of go on our own backgrounds. Hers from being a manager at hotels and being a manager on planes. Me grinding with my dad and my mom and my brother and my sister trying to build a business. Trust your instincts. It's so important. If you feel like something is good, you should go for it. If you feel like something is bad, you probably shouldn't do it. If you don't know, you should find out. Trust your instincts. Stay true to your core values. I just had a conversation on the way here. One of my trades, he's a great guy. The only reason I've actually done business with him is because he's a good guy. On the way here, I called him for a connect for something else, and he told me his mom died. that day, today. And I almost started crying on the way here because he's such a good guy. And one of my core values is you only work with good people, period. Doesn't matter if they cost you more, if they're if they have their faults, as long as it's not about business, but you have to deal with good people. And that's one of my core values. Remember the whys. We had a baby. I was making this whole new adventure. Why was I doing this? And my reason was because I was going to live a life that I was passionate about and that I wanted to live. I wasn't going to chase money because I had a good job. I didn't want to be a millionaire. I wanted to do what I actually genuinely loved. And renovating houses and chasing my own ability to be the man in my household was what I wanted to do. And then one of the things we quickly learned was you have to be able to execute in the face of diversity. All of my experienced entrepreneurs know that you're going to come across hurdles. You're going to come across things that are going to throw you off your path, make your day feel like crap, keep you up at night figuring out what you're going to do about this problem. You have to be able to wake up that next day and execute, because you won't make it to the next day if you don't finish that day out. And lastly, you have to be able to work. And that became very prominent whenever we got into our third flip. On our third flip, because I was so scared, the only way that I could figure out how to manage my own anxiety and my own fear was I hated social media, but I was like, man, my kid is here. She's doing this really cool thing. She's playing with the tools. I'm going to start making videos of my kids and post them on Instagram and YouTube and just let them enjoy the process of what we're doing. And by that time on our third flip, production companies started calling us and emailing us. And I was like, this is stupid. That's not real. And literally, I think we had 3 production companies in our email, and they sat in there for about 2 weeks because I didn't even open them. I thought it was stupid. I was like, there's no way that's real. Eventually, one of those production companies called us and was like, hey, we emailed you. And I was like, oh, it's real. Oh, hey, okay, what's going on? So we started talking about the ideas of possibly making a TV show, and I'm not going to get into the details of how that works, but you have to go through a lot of steps and do a lot of things in order to get somebody to approve you to be on TV. We went through that process. In that time, my wife was pregnant with our son, and we got greenlit for a pilot show. We started filming our pilot for Going for Sold when our son was 8 weeks old. And now he's 4. And so we've been on TV his whole life, which is pretty cool. That said, that process is grueling. And filming a TV show, although it is an amazing experience, it will show you, I think I was telling Mark this, I guarantee you, it will show you every weakness that you have as a business. It'll show you every weakness that you have as a person. It'll show you every weakness that you have as a group. And it tests you. And the only way you get through it is working your butt off. There were many nights that we didn't sleep because we had to finish a house to reveal it for TV the next day. And so I would work all the way through the night. That said, what you see on TV and what you see on social media isn't reality. Not that it's not real, but there's so much more to what happens in life. And for all you guys that are out here, for your first time, understand that while you hear about how much money you can make, it takes an incredible amount of work. It takes an incredible amount of will for you to fight through to get to that point. It doesn't happen overnight, even though TV kind of happened for us overnight, right? We were the exception to that rule. The lessons that I learned through the process of filming 2 shows, number one, was create processes. The one thing that we were missing as we were filming TV, real quick backdrop, when we started filming our show, we were renovating 2 houses every 6 months. We started filming our TV show on our 6th flip, and we went from renovating 2 houses every 6 months to renovating 6 houses in 18 weeks. If you don't have a process, you will be what we were, which was never sleeping, always tired, always hungry, always stressed, not knowing where the money's coming, not knowing where the money's going. It sucks. That part of it sucks. And so the main thing we learn from that is that you have to create processes. You have to figure out how you're going to document everything that you put into a house, how you're going to manage your money, how you're going to deal with the fact that what you thought the plan was going to be doesn't turn out the plan. You need to make sure that you're putting your processes into place. And that for us is an ever evolving part of our business. We're always trying to figure out how we can make our processes better. I think every time Eddie jumped up here, he said, "Are there any questions?" And there was rarely a question. It's so important for you to find a mentor, find a guide, and ask questions. There are no stupid questions. There is no pride to be lost by trying to learn more, by trying to find somebody who can help you, because they are out there and people want to help. So you have to find a mentor. You have to find someone who can guide you, and you can always and should always ask questions. And lastly, probably the most important thing for me is believing in yourself and manifesting your own destiny. And my wife has an unbelievable ability to do that. Manifest the dreams, put into action, and actually believe. She told me this the day before yesterday. She said that I never realized that you can never dream big enough. You can always dream bigger than whatever it is that you're dreaming. And that's whether you're a millionaire, a billionaire, a zero-air, whatever it is. You can always dream bigger. So never stop dreaming big. Now, as we move forward where we are now, because of our TV shows, we started off really in the investing world, going for sold. That was strictly about flipping houses. Because Mary has such a great design eye, people started calling us to renovate their houses like what they saw on TV. That kind of led to the opportunity to create Two Steps Home, which was where we would help someone get their house ready to sell for a smaller budget. Then I would help them find their next house, and we would turn their next house into their dream home. So Mary's design, as it evolved, it went from flipping to designing on a budget and going for in Two Steps Home to now designing whatever she wanted to a much larger budget. And that kind of really fit her wheelhouse. That really kind of sparked her own desires inside. And so that's what we do now. The biggest part of our success right now is finding your tribe. Finding people that you can invest in that are going to believe not only in what you're doing, but equally you believe in what they're doing and what their aspirations are. I think it's very important that you find people who want to pour into you, but also that you want to pour into them. That's very, very important. Find your tribe. Step into the unknown. Mary calls it shooting your shot. Over the last 6 months, she's been shooting her shot, doing all kinds of Instagrams, reaching out to Essence Magazine, reaching out to this person over here and that person over there. And because she's been shooting her shots, now her desire and her fire for design is giving her all kinds of opportunities. I'm learning from her right now about how important it is to shoot your shot, because you never know, nothing changes when someone tells you no. Whatever you're doing, it stays the same. But if you shoot your shot and you get one yes, it can change your life. Literally, it can change your life. So shoot your shots. And then one of the things that I've always dealt with is how fear is your savior, but it's also your barrier. Most of us, when we get scared of things, will either flight, stay still. Some of us are fighters. That's not me. I'm more of like a stay still guy whenever I get scared. You never know what's on the other side of your fear. I'm reading Will Smith's book right now, and he talks about that. You never know what's on the other side of what you don't know. So you should always be fighting to create your own opportunities. There's so much opportunity in here just walking around, random people. I think the first time I came in here, I maybe talked to like 2 people. And then the next time I came, I talked to maybe like 4 people. But the more you talk and the more you put your fears aside and you step into the unknown and you talk to some random person, you can have the most amazing conversation. You can make the most amazing connection, and it can change your entire scope of what you do here and what it becomes. Lastly, you have to enjoy the journey. That's why I'm in it. We're here. I'm literally standing on the stage because I made the commitment to enjoy my life, enjoy my journey, and know that whatever it is I think is my precipice, there's something after that. The journey is your entire life. There's no goal that you're going to reach that's going to make you stop. There's always something after that. Know that whatever your accomplishment, whatever your dreams are, whatever it is you think you're trying to accomplish in the investment world and the real estate world, it doesn't stop when you get to that accomplishment. You got to keep going and enjoy the journey. That's pretty much all I have, guys. You know, I love questions. If you have questions, feel free to ask us. And let's get to it. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
So if anybody has any questions for Jon Pierre, just raise your hand, and he's going to help out to come on stage. On the other side, all right. Now's the time to ask.
I'm sorry, was I supposed to go over here? I thought I was supposed to come back up on this side of the stage. All right, now you remember he's on a 2 question max. So
Yes, sir.
speak up. Can't hear you.
There we go. When I was having difficulties getting the loan, how did I get the loan? So the very first flip we did was a hard money loan. Because I had saved money on the side, I was buying a house that in my brain I knew was too much, but I had to do it. And so I used a portion of my own money to finance the hard. How much of my own money did I use? I put in $15,000 of my own money. Right. And then the house we bought, it was, I think the stats were, we bought it for $140,000. I think we planned on renovating it for about $25,000.
What was the interest rate?
Interest rate was 12%.
Wow,
Hard money loans, 12% interest. That sucks.
So how much each month did you pay?
So I paid $1,200 every month. And we held it for 9 months.
It's always a great motivator to make you move quick to flip that house, right?
Man, I'm telling you.
Hey, before the next question, if you've got your drawings for the vendors, we're gonna need to grab all of those because we're gonna give away this TV here in just a little bit.
Absolutely. There's a question. Good. Right up here in front, Jon Pierre.
Yes.
Are you currently still investing in real estate?
So currently, no, but because of all the things that I have done, there's always opportunities. So I never say no to a good deal. That's one of the things I did learn, thankfully. I don't say no to a good deal, but it's probably been about nine months since we actually flipped a house.
I am, but I have a radio face.
All right, right here in the back, Jon Pierre.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
How did you find the homes to flip?
Oh, that's a great question. So it started networking here. I started getting on a lot of, wholesalers lists. Then I started going to the Harris County website for auctions. And then I would go to the auctions that they had every month. I know they stopped those for quite a while during COVID. Did they start doing those again, the county auctions?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so those are back on. So I would go to those auctions, would be a place I would look. I would door knock. Man, that is the most terrifying experience ever. Walking up to a random door and just knocking on it. Hey, can I buy your house? Like that, man, I'll tell you a quick story. I don't know, how much time do I have, Eddie?
No, you're good.
Good, oh, I'm good, okay. So Door knocking. I put together a list, got in my car. I was by myself. I drove around to 8 properties. I drove up to the first house. I was like, man, I think they're home. Let's go to the next one. Went to the next house. Man, there might be a dog in the yard. And I'm not making this up. This is serious. There's a dog in the yard. Nah, they're probably mean. Let me go to the next one. Thank you. Went to the next house. Oh, looks like nobody's home. All right, let's try it. Get out my car, walk up. The door's like where Eddie is. I'm getting closer. Nah, let's go to the next one. I drove around to 8 houses, didn't knock on one door. 2 days later, I told my friend to come with me. For whatever reason, for me, when I'm by myself, my brain is like on fire with talking to myself, right? And the person in your brain is always like your worst enemy. So I had my friend come, and he was like, "Man, are you sure you're gonna do this?" I'm like, "Man, it's gonna be great. Let's do this." Man, yeah, I'm good. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. So we went up to the very first house. I go up. I was about to turn around, but my friend was in his car waiting on me to knock on this door. So I knock on the door. I stand back far away because I'm like, man, they might pull out a gun. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen right now. A lady peers through her curtain, her little window on the side. She opens the door, and I said, "Hi, I saw your house. Looked like it was going to go for an auction. I wanted to see if you're interested in letting me buy your house." She steps out. We have a quick 3-minute conversation. She said to me, "God put you in front of my door." And she came up and she gave me a hug. And I started crying. It was the most revealing conversation that I'd ever had in my life on so many levels, mainly because fear is so strong and pervasive in your heart. She opened up my door and opened up my world into what's on the other side of fear. And I saved her, right? I helped her. I sold that house. Her daughter was buying a house. I'm a realtor. I helped her buy her house. She, a year later, got on her feet. I helped her buy a house, right? So that's how I did it. I knocked on, in my entire existence, I knocked on 12 doors, and I got 7 deals out of those 12 doors. So that's that.
Here's one over here.
So my only question is, in the midst of adversity, how do you manage to still focus on a mission?
That's something I struggle with to this day. In kind of my process of going from working for a job to working for myself, I took kind of like a self-discovery course. And one of the things that I learned was that voice in your head, the one that I'm talking about, that voice is not real. But it's real, but it's not real. And so for 3 months after I took that course, I told myself that whatever that voice tells me not to do, I'm gonna do it, right? So whenever it said, "Don't call your mom," I just picked up the phone and I called her. And I practiced it for 3 straight months. And so even today, like right now, we went to Tulum, and we went to this cenote. Cenote is kind of like an underwater cave. And there was a diving board. If that's the water, it was probably about where the ceiling is. And I went up to it and I looked over the edge, and they had a light in the water, and the water was like super clear. So the light showed up. You could not tell where the water was from the platform because the water was so clear and all you saw was the light down there. So it looked like that light was like 100 feet away, right? And so I stepped back, I looked again, Looked over my shoulder. The same friend who went with me to go knock on doors, he came with me to Tulum. And I looked at it, and my brain said, don't. And I took one step back, and I just took off running and jumped, right? And so it's the practice of not listening to that voice, because that voice is going to tell you that the adversity is too much. It's always too much. You can't do it. You can't handle it. What happens if you fail? It doesn't matter. You just jump. That's
Just
it.
jump. Just jump. Anybody have any questions? Aha.
I love your hat.
This has been a great storytelling. You have done really a good job.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. And also of even your fears. Thank you. And bringing your wife in and how much she meant in the business and your marriage and your kids. It has been great. Okay, now my question. Tell me your name and tell me your business now. Let's
Oh,
do a
thank you.
pitch.
Yeah, I'm terrible at self-promotion.
You can pay me later.
Yes, thank you, because I never talk about myself. So our business is Harper Raine Homes. It's named after our first daughter. My biggest problem is we have a son who doesn't have a business named after him, so we got to figure that out pretty quickly. Harper Raine Homes. We renovate houses here in the Houston area, the greater Houston area. On Instagram, it's at Harper Raine Homes. Facebook at Harper Raine Homes. On Instagram, I'm Jon Pierre TJP. My wife is Mary TJP. TJP is our last name. That's short for a much longer name. That's a whole nother story. But that's right. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe below.